Universal Studios, producer, director, Mrs. B. Scene 1. Hello, boys and girls around the world. Yes, I'm Miss B, and I'm a teacher in the United States. I'm so glad that you're able to join me today for a very special read aloud. But before we begin, I have a hello song just for you. And this is how it goes, boys and girls. Hello, boys and girls around the world. Hello, boys and girls around the world. How are you? How are you? I'm glad you're here to read and learn. We know we'll have some fun today. We love school every day. And so will you. I know, terrible singing voice, but Mrs. B so wanted to share a song with all of you boys and girls. The book that I've selected for today's read aloud is called Pigsty. And boys and girls, this book was written by Mark Teague. He is the author of this lovely book. And the person that drew the pictures is called an illustrator. And it just so happens that it's the same person, Mark Teague. What a talented individual. Boys and girls, this is the cover or the front of the book. If we turn this over, this is the back of the book. Let's turn it back over to the front. Look at the title, Pigsty, and look at the illustration, and what do you think that the story is going to be about? Yes, it's about a little boy, and then there's two pigs back there, boys and girls. And what else? There seems to be a lot of things on the floor. Boys and girls, I'm going to predict. Predict means to guess what's going to happen in the story. I'm going to predict that this story will be about a boy who shares a room with some pigs. And I wonder if this little boy will clean his room. I know lots of boys and girls who ignore their parents when they are told to clean up their rooms or after themselves. So I'm going to predict, boys and girls, that this boy is not going to listen to his parents right away. What do you think? Do you think he'll listen right away or much later or not at all? Let's find out, boys and girls. I want your eyes and ears on Mrs. B, because boys and girls, when you're reading, reading means understanding the author's message, not just about calling out a bunch of words. If you cannot answer comprehension questions after reading a page, then you have not truly read anything, boys and girls. So it's important to be able to answer the questions that Mrs. B is going to ask you during story time. Also, at the very end, I have a fun activity for you to do at home with your families. How cool is that? Also, boys and girls, I want you to picture. That means thinking about seeing a story in your mind. Pretend like you're there. Also, boys and girls, if you have a question, this means stopping to figure out what is happening when words or sentences do not make sense. So we need to stop and figure it out or ask somebody, boys and girls. The last thing that I want you to do is able to summarize or retell the story. And this is when we sort the information that we've read. Are you ready for Mrs. B to read the story, boys and girls? I'm so ready to read it to you. Boys and girls, have you ever had messy room or messy rooms in the house? Mrs. B has had a messy room when she was younger. And boys and girls, my parents used to tell me, clean up my room all the time. She used to say, this room is a pigsty. What do you know? Pigsty, like the title of this story, boys and girls. Has your mother or father or grandparents ever told you that your room looked like a pigsty? I thought so. Boys and girls, do we read left to right or right to left? We read left to right. Then I go to the next line and read left to right, left to right. And we use a capital letter when we begin a sentence. And here we have it out of a pair of socks, the capital M. Monday afternoon, Wendell Fultz's mother told him to clean his room. It's turning into a pigsty, she said. And there is Wendell, the little boy. He is going to be the main character that we see in this story the most, boys and girls. But there will be other characters in the story as well, like the mother and then maybe the pigs, boys and girls. So characters don't have to be people. They can be animals too, boys and girls. Wendell went upstairs. Much to his surprise, a large what was sitting on his bed, boys and girls? A large pig was laying on his bed, boys and girls. Oh no. And boys and girls, I don't want you to think that you're a bad reader if you don't make the correct predictions in this story. Should you give up and stop making predictions? No, making predictions, right or wrong, is what good readers do, boys and girls. They look for all the clues in the words and pictures to predict what's happening next. So you can also guess based on things that you know in your own life too. Mrs. B has made predictions that are wrong so many times in books, but that just makes me a better reader. Pardon me, said Wendell. He shoved some toys into his closet, but the pig didn't seem to mind the mess. And Wendell found that he didn't mind the pig either. He decided to take a break from cleaning, boys and girls. He just shoved everything into a closet. And what is the pig reading? He's reading a book about strange stories. And here's a bag of potato chips. Boys and girls, do pigs eat potato chips? No. So this genre, is it going to be fiction or nonfiction? Fiction means pretend or make believe, or is this story real? It can happen in real life. That would be nonfiction. So boys and girls, is this story fiction or nonfiction? It's fiction, because pigs do not lay in someone's bed in their house. They don't eat potato chips. And they don't read books, boys and girls. When Wendell's mother came to look at his room, the pig was hiding, but the mess was still there. She threw up her hands. And okay, Wendell, she said, if you want to live in a pigsty, that's up to you. Boys and girls, do you want to live in a pigsty or do you want to live in a clean room? Mrs. B wants to live in a clean room. My entire house and even my front and backyard are very clean, boys and girls. Wendell could hardly believe his luck. Now I can live however I want. He didn't even worry when he came home on Tuesday and found a second pig in his room. Good job, boys and girls. The mess had grown a bit worse, but he was able to jam most of it under his bed. Pigs are all right, he said, as long as it's only one or two. And there they are lying on the floor, boys and girls. In fact, they had a wonderful time. They played Monopoly until late each night and left the pieces lying all over the floor. I love to play the game Monopoly. I still own the deluxe edition, boys and girls. I love owning all those properties and hotels. Have you ever played the game of Monopoly? This is a board game. Not yet? Well, boys and girls, you shall. It's a very popular game to play with your family and friends. They had paper airplane wars and pillow fights. The bed became a trampoline. It is not good to jump up and down on the bed, boys and girls, because you can break the springs. Then what do you think is going to happen next? Somebody else showed up in Wendell's room. More pigs? How many more pigs do you think showed up? One or two? Then two more pigs showed up. The mess just grew and grew. So now, boys and girls, we have already two pigs in the room, and then two more pigs came. That makes how many, boys and girls? What's 2 plus 2? 1, 2, 3, 4 pigs are total in Wendell's room, boys and girls. And what is the setting of the story? Where does a story take place mostly? Outside or inside? Inside, if you want to be more specific, Wendell's room. That night when Wendell went to bed, the pigs were lying everywhere. They rolled up in his blankets and hogged his pillows too. Wendell told himself he didn't mind, but then he found hoof prints on his comic books. Now he's upset because he found hoof prints on his comic books, boys and girls. And they're hogging up the bed, boys and girls. Not fair. This is Wendell's room, not their room, boys and girls. And Friday when he got home from school, he saw that someone had been sitting on his basketball and his baseball cards were chewed. This is not funny, boys and girls. Look at the chewed up baseball cards down below here. And look at that mess. Somebody deflated his basketball. Wendell doesn't look very happy. He is unhappy, boys and girls. That does it, said Wendell. I've had enough. He ran downstairs to tell his mother. Sorry, she said, but your room is your responsibility. She handed him a broom, boys and girls. And there is the broom. It's your responsibility to keep your room clean, boys and girls. Wendell started to complain. The mess was too huge, but suddenly he remembered a saying he heard, "The many hooves make light work." He marched upstairs and organized a cleaning crew. And boys and girls, he's going to get help from the 4 pigs. They swept and scoured and polished and scrubbed. Later that afternoon, Wendell inspected his room and pronounced it clean. Look at that room, boys and girls. Spick and span. And that's how a child's room should look. I mean, there's going to be toys sometimes around on the floor, but at night or after you're done playing, you should clean them up and put them away so nobody can trip and fall and hurt themselves. In fact, it was a bit too clean from a pig's point of view, so while Wendell inspected, the pigs prepared to go home because they like to roll around in mud and they like to live where? On a farm. One of them made a phone call and a farm truck came to pick them up. They hugged and grunted and oinked. Goodbye. From that day on, Wendell kept his room dirty or clean. Clean. Good job, boys and girls. Except for those nights when his friends came by to play. What board game, boys and girls? Do you remember the name? Monopoly. Mrs. B's favorite board game. The end, boys and girls. What did you think about the story Pigsty? Would you give it a thumbs up if you liked it? If you did not like this story, give it a thumbs down. I gave it a thumbs up too, boys and girls. I really enjoyed sharing this story with all of you. Moms, dads, I haven't forgotten about you. Grandparents, brothers and sisters, older brothers and sisters. I have an activity for you to do at home. When I use this story in a small group, we play a memory game as an extension activity to the story. So you can use an art tray or a plastic bucket, and then I arrange a few items, preferably some things that might have been in the picture story, Wendell's room, and then I'll gather about 10 items or so. Depending on the child's age, the older, the more items that you can have in that bucket or in that art tray. And I'll let the children look at the items on the tray or in the bucket and talk about what they are and describe them and name them. Then I have them close their eyes and then I remove one item. The children open their eyes and try to guess what's missing in my bucket or art tray. And after their eyes, this activity, so afterwards, I let each child take a turn being the one who actually removes an item while the other one closes their eyes. So we take turns going around. So with your family, I would suggest playing with at least 2 or 3 people, if not more. That'll make it more fun. And then this activity, parents, grandparents, older brothers and sisters, it fosters cognitive skills while also teaching the social skill of cleaning up and promoting language skills as you discuss this story. It's a great way to reinforce right from the beginning the importance of cleaning up our preschool room or kindergartner's room and keeping the pigs in or out. Keeping the pigs out. So we're going to have to call it a pigsty. Well, boys and girls, I have a guest here for you. Somebody is visiting Mrs. B's mini classroom here. And this is also my office. So in the classroom here, I have a whiteboard that's huge on a stand. And I have a round table. And I sit with my students here across from one another. And we work in here. And all my books and materials are here packaged away nicely. And this is also my house. And I live in the state of Michigan, boys and girls. Now, let's see who our special guest is. It's my friendly monster. Hello, boys and girls. He's a good monster. He's my helper here in the classroom. Oh, thank you for joining Mrs. B and all the boys and girls around the world. Would you like to help to say goodbye to all of them? Oh, he would. Boys and girls, reading is fundamental. And I want to thank you for joining us on this Read Aloud today. And we hope to see you again soon. So bye-bye for now.